Muchachos y muchachas, the other day we overviewed a tweet that Kanye West shared with the world on social media. It was allegedly from his fitness instructor, Harley Pasternak. The text message itself seemed to have some threatening undertones, of which, if this indeed did come from Harley Pasternak, it alluded that Kanye had two options. Number one, that they would sit down and have a conversation, of course, with added stipulations attached to that option. Or number two, that he would have Kanye West institutionalized and medicated out his mind, and mentioned the extent to Zombieland. This was eye-opening for many people not assiduous to what we have been observing about the public figures of our world. Things that we have been questioning on this channel, but also for people even like me who have like a really close lens on these types of things. It gave me a new insight of who to look at and how to look at them. And it had me looking at this Harley Pasternak guy sideways. His client list on his website not only features Kanye, but also a slew of A-listers. Brittany Murphy was one mentioned to be his client, and that had me re-looking at some of the events surrounding her end of days. HBO released a documentary called What Happened, Brittany Murphy, where along with Brittany Murphy's close friends and family, also Harley Pasternak was featured as a corroborative witness. With what we learned through Kanye's shared text message, this had me looking that direction with questions. I rewatched this documentary and I want to share those questions with you all. Hold on to your butts, secure your wigs, stay right there. We're gonna go through it. Super quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this channel and this video, Support the Second. You all know that I am all about the Second Amendment, but certain politicians and certain people in this world are not for our God-given rights of defense. There is a coin that is showing support for this. It's called supportthesecond.com. You guys can get this coin for free, just pay for shipping. It's got a really cool skull with two pistols on the front, and it says Second Amendment is my gun permit. And on the back, it says the Second Amendment, United States Constitution. Really, really awesome coin to show your support for the Second Amendment. Supportthesecond.com. Brittany Murphy was a talented young actress that had a successful career with roles in movies that have now become cult classics. She was found unconscious in her bathroom December 20th, 2009. So friends, family, let's take a relook at this. Now, to preface on Brittany Murphy herself, her ending is still a mystery to this day. Sure, her ruling was pneumonia, but that didn't stop this documentary from exploring many theories about her last days and what could have led to her very end. The documentary features experts such as the coroner, as well as industry insiders closest to Brittany Murphy and her husband, 𝘠𝘕𝘠𝘢, to give their accounting of events. And talking about 𝘠𝘕𝘠𝘢, Brittany's husband, there was such emphasis on him, and rightfully so. He had a very questionable past and even questionable motives with Brittany Murphy. There were themes of control that were illustrated in various ways throughout this feature that were even eye-opening itself. But with Harley and his threatening language exposed for the world to see, it had me focus on the documentary's interview with him to unravel and reverse engineer what he had to say in his spot feature.
Great, thank you.
My name's Harley Pasternak. I am a celebrity fitness and nutrition author. I trained 𝘠𝘕𝘠𝘠𝘢 a number of years ago. First time I met Simon, he rolled up in a vintage Ferrari, and he got out smoking these fancy Cohiba cigars, and his girlfriend had the biggest diamond ring you've ever seen. They got engaged the night before, and she was happy, and then he said, we're both gonna work with you. And then his balance started to run up a lot more, and I wouldn't let him book new sessions. And then he called me one day and he says, hey, I'm dating Brittany Murphy now, and I want to bring her in and for us to work out together, and I'll pay you what I owe you. And they showed up one day. Brittany was for sure under the influence of something. Pills, maybe. She was kind of slurring her words. She was very sweet and kind of all over the place. And he said, Brittany's got a big project, and I want you to get her ready for the role. Okay, well, if I'm going to work with Brittany, I'll just deal with her team. And I remember reaching out to her team and saying, she fired all of us. Simon is her agent, manager, and lawyer and everything now. You have to go through Simon. And they said, we're concerned because no one can contact her directly. You can only go through Simon. I don't even know if she had a phone. Simon was the only one who carried a phone.
Re-looking at what he had to say about 𝘠𝘕 Brittany Murphy's husband, it fit like a glove. Did Brittany have money? Yes. Were there other witnesses to his character? Yes. Ex-fiancés, his family. I mean, yes. Very compelling. But would the viewer think to look at Simon's known relationships to corroborate Harley's account?
And he got out smoking these fancy 𝘏𝘴𝘦 cigars, and his girlfriend had the biggest diamond ring you've ever seen. They got engaged the night before, and she was happy, and then he said, we're both gonna work with you.
If you listen to that clip, Harley mentions that Simon was newly engaged and that he bought his new fiance in to work out with him as a client, and he used the word girlfriend, but anyway. Notice that Harley Pasternak uses words and phrases that don't specify a time frame, such as, then one day, Simon called me. Well, okay, this is the first piece I needed to look at more closely. You see, Harley went from Simon walked in with his new fiance one day, then the other day called him up to notify him that he was going to bring in Brittany Murphy as a new client, alluding that the racked up bill that Simon wouldn't pay would be paid for. For now, this is only a question that I have. How long did that time elapse with this new girlfriend slash fiance of Simon's until the day he wanted to bring in Brittany Murphy as Harley Pasternak's client? Because according to some research, Simon was married for 5 years to a woman named Simone Bien, a woman that was never featured in this documentary. Interesting, right? But back to it, Simon was married to Simone from 2001 up until 2006, then dated Brittany Murphy right after his divorce. So again, the question on the timing of Harley's recount of events, was he recounting that he trained Simon and Simone back in 2001? Because that's the last report of engagement and marriage before Brittany Murphy. And you see, it's little details like this that can unravel an entire narrative. Well, at least for questionable characters like Harley Pasternak, whom we should all be alarmed by. Another aspect I find questionable is his lack of answering the questions directly. Notice that he never comments on what he was questioned on. He jumped straight to Brittany Murphy's perceived state without giving much more context to how and why he perceived her that way.
He had been running for a long time. There's things he did in other states, used fake names, stole money, bounced checks. And then when he became this public figure, because he was with Brittany Murphy now, people could find him. So all the people that he screwed over, all of a sudden, oh, I know where he is. Very simple.
And look, when it comes to 𝘠𝘕, Brittany Murphy's husband, no doubt. I mean, everything that was listed in the documentary is definitely compelling with his questionable past, his past of, fraud crimes, things like this. So it wouldn't have a general audience look past it. It's like, it fits like a glove. There's nothing more to, just assess from there. It almost seems like 𝘠𝘕 was a scapegoat in a way, and not at all to excuse anything that he did, because I definitely think that he was a very questionable dude. Again, his past illustrates it for him, so there's nothing to question about that. But it makes me wonder if there was something more to the Brittany Murphy story, because it was so easy to pin everything on 𝘠𝘕. even in one article that I found, I mean, it was a very, very dated article. Simon Monjack himself said that the media was lying about him. Although the crime records do attest for itself, you know, there definitely could be truth in all of that, you know, but at the same time, it makes me wonder if there was some added fabrication on top of Simon, so that way he could be some form of scapegoat for a distraction when it came to Brittany Murphy and what could have been more to her story. So guys, I found that little piece very interesting as I rewatched the documentary. Now, Harley Pasternak's role in the documentary was very limited. It was a very short interview. But I did find that the timing that he mentioned was very curious. Of course, he didn't pin himself down to a point where he specified a time frame for, you know, Simon and Simone's marriage, or Simon and his mystery engagement or mystery girlfriend right before Brittany Murphy. So there's that. But at the same time, it's interesting that it sounds like the time is so compacted and seems so close. So guys, let me know what you think about this. Did you ever think to relook at the events? Have you seen this documentary, What Happened Brittany Murphy? I would encourage you guys to go watch it yourself, and especially the Harley Pasternak part. I'm just, you know, I just have a lot of questions, and that text message definitely put me on the more edgy side of looking at things when it comes to the celebrities. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. By the way, if you love this top, you can get it at weddingboutique.com. I'm gonna link it in the description below. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.